You've been looking for psychopaths in all the wrong places. While you're scanning for obvious red flags, they're hiding behind the most ordinary behaviors. Behaviors so common, so seemingly innocent, that you dismiss them as personality quirks. But criminal psychologists and FBI profilers know better. They've identified 7 shocking clues that reveal a psychopath's true nature. Clues that are literally right in front of you every single day. Today, I'm going to show you what law enforcement and forensic psychiatrists look for. The subtle but unmistakable signs that separate true psychopaths from merely difficult people. These aren't the dramatic warning signs from movies. These are the quiet, everyday behaviors that most people completely overlook until it's far too late. Let's start with the most deceptive clue, something that actually makes you like them more. The first shocking clue is weaponized attention. Psychopaths are unnaturally skilled at making you feel like the most interesting person in the room. They remember details about your life with photographic precision, ask follow-up questions about things you mentioned weeks ago, and seem genuinely fascinated by your thoughts and experiences. Dr. Kevin Dutton from Oxford University's Department of Experimental Psychology explains that this isn't genuine interest, it's data collection. Psychopaths are gathering intelligence about your vulnerabilities, desires, and pressure points with the systematic precision of a spy. I witnessed this with a colleague who could recall intimate details about dozens of people's lives, their fears, dreams, relationship problems, financial struggles. But when I observed closely, I noticed something chilling. He never shared anything meaningful about himself, and his caring questions always seemed to probe for specific types of information. What you valued most, what you feared losing, who you trusted. Watch for listeners who remember everything but reveal nothing. This isn't empathy, it's reconnaissance. The second shocking clue is atmospheric emotional control. Psychopaths don't just manage their own emotions. They manipulate the emotional climate of entire rooms with surgical precision. Neuroscience research from the University of Wisconsin shows that psychopaths can read and influence group dynamics in ways that seem almost supernatural. They know exactly when to inject tension, when to provide relief, and how to position themselves as the solution to problems they secretly created. This manifests as an uncanny ability to shift group moods. They'll make a subtle comment that creates unease, then position themselves as the voice of reason. They'll ask an innocent question that plants seeds of doubt about someone else, then appear supportive when that person struggles. Most revealing is their emotional thermostat effect. They can dial the intensity of any interaction up or down at will, but always in service of their agenda. Unlike natural charisma, this feels calculated and leaves you emotionally drained without understanding why. The third shocking clue is appreciation amnesia, a complete inability to maintain genuine gratitude for favors, kindness, or support they have received. Research from Harvard's Department of Psychology shows that psychopaths process acts of kindness fundamentally differently than normal humans. Where healthy people feel indebted and motivated to reciprocate, psychopaths feel entitled and often resentful that more wasn't given. They'll accept significant help, financial support, career opportunities, emotional labor, with what seems like appropriate gratitude. But watch what happens over time. The favor gets minimized, forgotten, or reframed as something they deserved or earned through their own merit. Most disturbing is their tendency to become hostile toward people who've helped them most. Dr. Robert Hare's research reveals that psychopaths often target their greatest benefactors for their cruelest treatment, as if kindness itself triggers their predatory instincts. This isn't someone being ungrateful occasionally. It's a neurological inability to maintain positive feelings about people who've demonstrated care. The fourth shocking clue is information excavation, an obsessive need to uncover secrets, weaknesses, and private information about others while revealing nothing meaningful about themselves. Unlike normal curiosity, psychopathic probing follows a specific pattern. They ask seemingly innocent questions that gradually build a comprehensive profile of your vulnerabilities. They remember embarrassing stories you've forgotten telling them. They know exactly which topics make you uncomfortable and return to them repeatedly. Research from the University of British Columbia's Forensic Psychology Department shows that psychopaths collect personal information, like intelligence assets, storing details about people's fears, shames, and insecurities for future leverage. They're particularly skilled at creating false intimacy, sharing a calculated vulnerability that prompts you to reciprocate with something far more damaging. Their secrets are always strategic, designed to extract more valuable information from you. Watch for people who know more about your private life than you remember sharing, while their own inner world remains completely opaque. The fifth shocking clue is artificial expertise, the ability to appear knowledgeable and competent in areas where they have no real skill or experience. Psychopaths are masters of what psychologists call confident incompetence. They can discuss complex topics with such authority that experts in those fields initially believe they're speaking with a peer, but their knowledge is entirely surface level, cobbled together from quick research and confident delivery. Dr. Cleckley's seminal work, The Mask of Sanity, identifies this as one of the most reliable psychopathic indicators. They can convincingly play roles, the successful businessman, the caring therapist, the devoted partner, without possessing any of the underlying qualities these roles require. Most dangerous is their ability to fail upward. When their incompetence is exposed in one area, they seamlessly transition to a new field where their lack of expertise isn't yet apparent. They leave behind a trail of unfinished projects, disappointed colleagues, and confused victims who can't understand how someone so impressive could deliver so little. The sixth shocking clue is trauma tourism, an inappropriate fascination with other people's pain, trauma, and emotional wounds. Unlike genuine empathy, psychopaths are drawn to suffering like moths to flame. They ask probing questions about your worst experiences, encourage you to relive painful memories, and seem energized by your distress in ways that feel subtly wrong. Research from the University of Montreal shows that psychopaths experience genuine pleasure when witnessing emotional pain, activating reward centers in their brains. This manifests as an uncanny ability to identify your deepest wounds and an compulsive need to probe them. They position themselves as healers or confidants, encouraging you to share increasingly intimate traumas. But notice their body language during these conversations. There's often a subtle excitement, an intensity that doesn't match their caring words. Most revealing is their tendency to bring up your painful experiences at inappropriate times, often when you're feeling happy or confident. This isn't accidental, it's emotional sabotage disguised as concern. The seventh and most shocking clue is environmental gaslighting, the systematic distortion of shared reality that makes you question your own perceptions and memories. This goes beyond simple lying. Psychopaths create what Harvard trauma specialists call coercive control, a comprehensive assault on your reality testing that leaves you dependent on their version of events. They'll deny conversations that multiple people witnessed, insist events happened differently than everyone remembers, and gradually convince you that your memory and judgment are unreliable. Unlike pathological liars who create obvious falsehoods, psychopaths specialize in subtle reality shifts that are difficult to prove or challenge. Most insidious is their ability to recruit others into their distorted narrative. They're skilled at presenting themselves as the reasonable party while painting you as confused, emotional, or unstable. Over time, even your closest friends may begin to doubt your version of events. Now that you recognize these 7 shocking clues, let's discuss how to protect yourself when you've identified a psychopath in your environment. The most effective protection strategy is what forensic psychologists call strategic disengagement, a systematic reduction of your value as a target while avoiding direct confrontation that could trigger retaliation. First, implement information security. Stop sharing personal details, emotional vulnerabilities, or future plans. Psychopaths require intimate knowledge to manipulate effectively. Deny them this ammunition. Second, become emotionally unrewarding. Psychopaths feed on emotional reactions, both positive and negative. Practice what therapists call gray rock. Become so boring and unresponsive that they lose interest and seek more stimulating targets. Third, document everything. Psychopaths rely on reality distortion and gaslighting. Maintain detailed records of interactions, conversations, and incidents. This protects your sanity and provides evidence if escalation occurs. The most common question I receive is whether psychopaths can change with enough love, understanding, or therapy. The scientific consensus presents a difficult truth that could save your life. A comprehensive 30-year longitudinal study from the University of California followed psychopathic individuals through various treatment programs. The disturbing finding, therapy often made them more effective manipulators by teaching them the language of emotions and recovery, without the corresponding internal experience. Current neuroscience shows that psychopathy involves fundamental structural differences in brain regions governing empathy, emotional processing, and moral reasoning. This isn't a choice or a learned behavior. It's a neurological condition that fundamentally alters how they process human relationships. The most ethical clinical approach now focuses on risk management and harm reduction, rather than attempting to create empathy where the neurological hardware doesn't exist. Let me leave you with the 7 shocking clues that reveal psychopaths hiding in plain sight. The perfect listener, unnaturally skilled at making you feel heard while gathering intelligence. Emotional weather patterns, manipulating group dynamics and emotional climates. The gratitude deficit, inability to maintain appreciation for kindness received. Conversational archaeology, obsessive excavation of your secrets and vulnerabilities. The competence mirage, artificial expertise that crumbles under scrutiny. Emotional archaeology, inappropriate fascination with your pain and trauma. The reality distortion field, systematic assault on your perception of truth. Remember, these clues are right in front of you every day. Psychopaths count on your disbelief, your assumption that surely no one could be that calculating. But knowledge is your strongest protection. Trust your instincts when something feels wrong. Document everything and prioritize your safety over their feelings. Your well-being depends on recognizing these shocking clues before they recognize you as their next target.